You really think you can say something like that? Why not? Tu retorted before storming out. At that moment, Gok fully realized the truth behind her mother's warnings. This man didn't know how to love his wife and child. He only ever thought about himself. Tears streamed down her face as she looked at Swai, her daughter who had developed another fever. Gok took her child to the hospital all by herself. Even by nightfall, her husband hadn't called once. It wasn't until the next day that her phone finally rang. It seemed he hadn't been home all night and hadn't even noticed they were gone. "Where are you? Where did you take the kid back to your parents' house again, huh? You're unbelievable. Always clinging to your parents even after getting married. Or maybe you're just trying to milk everything from this family for them. Enough already." "Who are you shouting at?" Knox snapped. "Do you even know where I am right now? How would I know if you don't tell me?" he barked back. "I'm at the hospital with our child. Where were you all night that you only realized we weren't home this morning?" "I came home but slept in the guest room. I didn't see you two this morning, so I called." "What amazing concern you show for your wife and child," she said bitterly. "What's with your attitude today?" he shot back. "From now on, I'm not going back to that house. I've had enough." "If you're going to say it, make sure you follow through," he sneered. "I'll do my best," Nog said coldly and hung up. She and her daughter stayed at the hospital, struggling every step of the way. With no money, Nog could only afford to buy food for her daughter while relying on charity meals herself. In her heart, she felt deeply grateful to the strangers, people who weren't related by blood, yet still cared enough to provide warm meals for those in need. Without them, she truly didn't know what she would have done. While her daughter remained hospitalized, Gok ran around borrowing money just to cover the hospital fees. When they were finally discharged, she had no intention of returning to her husband's house. She took her daughter back to her parents' home instead. As soon as she reached the gate, her father questioned harshly, "Why didn't you go straight home after the hospital? Treating this place like some sort of playground, are you—" "I have something I need to discuss with you, Dad," she said softly. "What is it?" "Can my daughter and I stay here for a while?" Her father angrily threw his cigarette onto the ground and stared hard at her. "So now you want to smear mud all over our family's face. You're married? You belong with your husband. What are you doing coming back here?" "Dad, I can't live with him anymore." "Are you even thinking before you speak? If you're not going to live with your husband after marriage, who are you planning to live with? Some other man, maybe." "No, Dad. It's not like that. He's not the same anymore. He constantly blames me and criticizes me. So what if he says a few harsh words? You're supposed to endure it. I'm not going to tolerate this kind of nonsense." He snapped, "Out there trying to be like those others abandoning your husband, huh?" "I haven't learned from anyone, Dad," Notch answered quietly. "Fine, I'll let your mother cook you a meal. Eat then get out of here," her father snapped. Ngok swallowed her tears and whispered, "I'm not hungry." "Then leave early. Even if it's raining, dragging that child around outside isn't good. If anything happens to her, don't come crying about it for the rest of your life." Mrs. Yuan rushed out from the house, scolding her husband. "She just got home. Why are you speaking to her so harshly now that she's suffering? We as parents should protect her." "Je sapa with her and Xiamen." "It's because of you that she's spoiled. You always tell her to leave her husband at the first sign of trouble." He barked. "I never told her that," Mrs. Yuan protested. "But our daughter is suffering too much. How can anyone live like that?" Suffering in the past life was even harder, yet people still stayed together. "You're so controlling, always insisting on your way." "Shut up or I'll slap you right here," he shouted. The shouting match grew louder. Seeing her parents argue because of her, Ngosh no longer wanted to stay. She forced a smile to reassure her mother. "It's okay, Mom, I'll leave now." "Stay here with me, dear. Ignore your father," Mrs. Yuan pleaded. "If you let her stay, I swear you and your daughter won't have a peaceful moment in this house," her father roared. "Stop it already," Mrs. Yuan yelled back. "You want a beating, woman?" Mr. Dung grabbed Mrs. Yuan and dragged her inside. Ngok ran after them crying and begging, "Please, Mom, Dad, stop fighting. I'll leave. I won't stay. I'll go back to my husband's house." Finally, Mr. Dung let go of his wife. "Good, don't embarrass me anymore. Once you're married off, there's no coming back. Whatever happens, you deal with it yourself." "Yes, Dad, I'll never come back here again. I'll take care of my own life," Ngok said tearfully. Having no other choice, Ngok took her child and returned to her husband's home. As she approached the gate, she saw her husband neatly dressed, apparently about to go out. Seeing his wife and child, he sneered, "I thought you had left for good." Ngok said nothing quietly, leading her daughter inside. Behind her, she could still hear his mocking voice. "I know you all too well. Useless and incompetent. Where else could you go? Back to your father's house. With a man like him, you think he'd even take you back?" Once inside, Ngok finally broke down and cried. The little girl saw her mother crying and immediately burst into tears too. Clinging tightly to her, Ngok's heart ached for her daughter, still too young to understand anything and even more for herself. What was she supposed to do now? How could she ever escape this miserable life? That evening, Tu came home. Ngok was cleaning the kitchen when he tossed a wad of cash onto the counter. "Here, whoever paid the hospital bill for our child, give it back to them. Don't make it seem like I don't take care of my wife and kid." Ngok remained silent, continuing her chores without responding. Tu grew enraged. "You can't even open your mouth to say thank you." "Thank you," she replied flatly. "What's with that tone, huh? Now that you don't love your husband and child anymore, even a thank you sounds wrong, doesn't it? You've felt there was a problem for a long time already, haven't you? I do everything for our child. As for you, wherever you go, whatever you do, I don't care anymore. And don't waste your breath trying to blame me either. If you care about our daughter, take care of her medical bills. If not, then forget it. Of course I care about my child. If it weren't for her, do you think I'd still be living with you? You have another woman, don't you? So what? Why are you treating me like this? Maybe you should take a good look at yourself. You have nothing in this house. The house is mine. The assets are mine. They say a husband's property is also a wife's contribution. I may not work outside, but I take care of this home. Cooking, cleaning, doing your laundry. You think clean clothes just fall from the sky. You think a warm meal magically appears. You're counting that nonsense. Hiring a maid would cost me a few million a month at most. If you want to be so calculated about everything, then go ahead and tally up all the years I served you and pay me what you owe. Dream on, watch out, or I'll kick you out of this house. If we divorce someone like you, homeless and penniless will never get custody of the child. You won't even be allowed to see her. You dare try me, disobey me once and see what happens. As much as Ngok hated to admit it, everything Tu said was true. If they divorced, she had no way of winning custody. He had the house, the job, the stability. She had nothing. But she couldn't accept that. No matter how hard it would be, she was determined to take her daughter with her. After thinking it over, Ngok knew she had to endure for now. She would gather enough evidence of his infidelity and neglect. Only then would she have a chance to win custody. The next morning, Tu handed Ngok a few million jong. "Tomorrow is my boss's birthday party. He wants all employees to bring their families. Use this money to buy yourself a new outfit, get a haircut, get your nails done. Don't embarrass me." Ngo knew she had no choice but to attend the party. If the director had allowed Tu to bring his mistress, he wouldn't have bothered calling her. She bought a new dress, a pair of shoes, and picked up a few outfits for their daughter. By the time Tu returned, Ngok had already bathed and changed into her new clothes. Seeing her, he stood stunned for a moment, as if he was seeing the beauty he had once been so desperate to chase after. Dressed neatly like this, you actually look decent. Usually you're such a mess. If you gave me your full salary, I wouldn't have had to be so frugal that I couldn't even afford a new outfit, Ngok replied. So in the end, you still want to blame me, huh? I'm not blaming anyone. I only blame myself for being useless. I'll keep focusing on raising our daughter for a little longer. Once she starts school, I'll find a job and take care of myself. I'm looking forward to that day too. Let's go. Tu owned a car, but he only ever used it to drive around whoever he pleased, and Ngok and their daughter rarely ever got a seat. The party was lavish and grand. Luckily, Nock didn't look too out of place. Among the guests, she noticed several women casting curious glances her way. If it had ended there, it would have been nothing. But one woman even approached her. "You must be Tu's wife." "Yes, I am," Ngach replied politely. "I've always been curious about what kind of woman Tu married. He's never brought you around before. Are you very close with Tu?" "Yeah, I heard you two aren't getting along too well. Is that true?" "Why are you asking me that?" "Because at work, Tu often complains about his family life." "You must be very close with my husband if he tells you everything about our family." "Exactly, he tells me everything," the woman said, smirking. Then she added mockingly, "Does he ever talk about work with you?" "Of course. Every night we talk for hours before going to bed. He cares about me a lot," Ngach said with a calm smile. "Really?" "Yes, quite the opposite of what you might have heard. Since you already know so much, why bother asking? If you have something to say, please say it directly." "If I said it, it would just hurt you," the woman taunted. Even before coming tonight, Ngach had sensed there was something between this woman and her husband. Now it was clear she was deliberately trying to provoke her. At that moment, Tu hurried over his face, pale with panic, when he saw Ngach speaking to the woman. "Chi Dung, are you talking to my wife? What is there to discuss between you and her?" "Oh, just exchanging a few pleasantries," Dung replied casually. "It's getting late. I need to take my wife and child home now. Drive safely, okay, and text me when you get home so I can rest easy," she added with a sly smile. Tu said nothing more, simply pulling Ngach away. On the drive home, he was lost in thought, so distracted that they almost got into an accident. "What's wrong with you?" Ngach asked. "Ah, nothing," Tu replied. "Then why aren't you focusing on driving what's on your mind?" "Just work stuff," he said casually. "By the way, what did Chi Dung say to you earlier?" "She talked a lot about you, about me." "Yeah, she seems to care about you a lot, and you seem very eager too." "Eager about what? Stop talking nonsense. You share everything about our marriage with her, don't you?" "Who told you that?" "She did. That's how she knows about our fights and how you're no longer interested in your wife." "I never said that. She also mentioned how incredibly close you two are." "You don't need to emphasize those words." "Oh, but I do." She made sure I understood her message loud and clear. Tu tightened his grip on the steering wheel, his expression growing tense and suspicious. When they got home, Ngach changed clothes and went to the bathroom, but instead of showering, she stood quietly outside their bedroom, listening. A woman's sixth sense never lies. Just as she suspected, she caught Tu making a phone call. "What did you say to my wife?" "What nonsense did you tell her?" he snapped. Ngach couldn't hear what the other person said, but she could hear Tu's angry voice. "I'm warning you, don't talk nonsense to her ever again. If you do, I won't let it slide." "Inni bin the friend." There was a long pause. Then Tu continued coldly, "You don't need to threaten or pressure me. We're done. Stop dragging this out." Afraid that Tu might suddenly come out, Ngach quickly slipped away. It seemed that Tu had finally ended things with that woman, but from the looks of it, she wasn't willing to let go so easily. "Maybe I could use this to my advantage," Ngach thought silently, but she wasn't in a hurry. If needed, that woman would come find her first. After finishing her shower, Ngach went to the kitchen for some water. Tu called out, "Where did you go?" "I'm right here," she replied. "Cook something, I'm hungry," he ordered. "Okay." Ngach obediently followed his instructions without a word of protest. She had decided to act like the perfect, gentle wife he wanted. "If you had been this obedient from the start, I wouldn't have had to be so strict with you," Tu said smugly. "You were just too stressed and couldn't handle things properly. Don't worry, I'm not mad as long as you stay obedient from now on." "Yes," Ngach answered softly. For the next few days, Tu ate every meal at home and came back on time. However, every night around midnight, his phone would ring nonstop. Sometimes he answered. Sometimes he just let it ring until it stopped. One fine day, while Ngach was shopping at the supermarket, she bumped into Dung No. To be precise, Dung had been following her on purpose. "Hello there, your husband. He's quite charming, isn't he?" Dung said with a sly smile. "Fancy running into each other at the supermarket. Truly fate works in funny ways." Dung said with a smile. Would you let me buy you and your daughter a drink? I need to hurry and finish shopping. I have to cook for Anash too, Notch replied. Oh, Tu's been eating at home a lot these days. Yes, every day he has dinner with me and our daughter. I even try to cook something extra nutritious for him, Gok said cheerfully. You two seem very happy together, Dung commented. Yes, Gok said as she placed a package of abalone into her cart. He loves abalone. Actually, Dung said, lowering her voice, I have something important to tell you. Let's sit down for a moment. As soon as they sat, Dung went straight to the point. Did you know that Tu has another woman outside? Ngok feigned shock. No way my husband is a good man. He would never cheat on me. That's what you think. The truth is very different. Do you have any proof? Ngok challenged. Oh, I have plenty of proof, Dung said coolly. But I can't show it to you. I'm just giving you a heads up. I don't believe you. My husband has always loved and cared for me and our child. He would never hurt us. Well then, Dung said, standing up. Since it's late, I'll be going. But she paused, then added coldly, Actually, let's not beat around the bush. You should divorce Tu. What are you saying? Why would I divorce my husband? Because Tu no longer loves you, Dung said bluntly. Did he tell you that? Is that why you and he… Gok covered her mouth, her eyes wide in shock. What do you mean? She whispered. I mean, the woman your husband is involved with is me? Lower your voice, Dung hissed. Oh my God, you're sleeping with my husband and you expect me to keep it a secret. I was tricked by Tu. I never meant to break up your family. He told me you two were getting divorced. That's why I agreed to date him. Divorce. My husband and I are still living happily together. How could you do this? My child is still so young. How could she handle such a devastating blow? She's constantly sick. If I lose him, who will take care of her? Gok's voice grew louder and louder. Frightened, Dung quickly pressed a hand over Ngok's mouth and dragged her toward the parking lot. I'll give you a large sum of money. All you have to do is agree to divorce Tu, Dung whispered. I don't believe you. Unless I see concrete proof I'm not doing anything, Ngok said firmly. Dung then sent her several pictures of her and Tu looking intimate and affectionate. Do you believe me now? Dung asked. Ngok had suspected it already, but seeing undeniable proof, seeing the man she shared her life with, caring for another woman, made her heart shatter into pieces. She was filled with searing hatred. She vowed she would never forgive him, not for the rest of her life. Tears rolled down Ngok's cheeks again. Her husband's mistress placed a hand gently on her shoulder, trying to comfort her. Don't be sad, it's just fate. When a relationship ends, it's best to let go. Don't waste your feelings on regrets. If I agree to divorce Tu, what would I get? Ngok asked coldly. I'll give you a sum of money enough for you and your child to start a new life, Dung said softly. Really? I'm serious. As soon as I see the divorce papers, you'll get 100 million, Zhang. 100 million. You dare to say such a thing. You're willing to spend that much money just to steal someone's father to make a child fatherless. How could you be so cruel? Dung placed a hand on her own belly. What about the baby growing inside me? He needs a father too. If Tu really loved you, he wouldn't have said such terrible things about you to me. I don't want to hear any more. I won't divorce him. My child needs her father. I won't let her grow up lacking love or support. Ngok turned and walked away, ignoring anything else Dung said. First step completed. Ngok thought grimly. Now let them destroy each other. Later that night, Tu's phone rang. He sneaked out to the balcony to answer. Hello, why are you calling at this hour? Because I miss you. I miss you too, but my wife and kid are right here. Not a good time. When will you give me the money? Soon. I'm still figuring it out. It's not easy coming up with that much cash right away. You promised to take care of me. Remember? Don't disappoint me. I know, but tell me, did you call because you miss me or just to ask for money? Of course, because I miss you. Let's meet tomorrow. Buy me a bowl of pho, okay? I've been craving it lately. All right, I'll get up early and buy it for you, Tu promised before quickly hanging up. Ngok, who had been quietly eavesdropping from their bedroom, slipped back under the covers and pretended to sleep soundly. From the call, it was clear Tu already had a new mistress. Dung had truly been left behind. Ngok then took the initiative to meet Dung, handing her a recording of Tu's conversation with the other woman. Dung's face twisted with rage. She looked even angrier than Ngok herself. "What, he did this to me too? I don't know, but what are you planning to do about it? Are you just going to let it go?" Ngok asked. "Never. That little brat must be the new girl at the office. Lately, she's been hanging around him all the time, borrowing things, making excuses to get closer. I'll make sure she regrets it." Dung snarled. "I've thought about this for a long time. At first, I didn't want to tell you," Ngok said softly, "but I realized we're both women, both suffering the same pain. It's too much to bear. My daughter is a few years old now. I can manage somehow, but the child you're carrying, I don't want it to suffer the way mine did." "You don't blame me anymore?" Dung asked. What's the point of blaming you? We're both women." "Blaming won't change anything. But that other girl, she's only trying to milk money from my husband. That's what really disgusts me." "So you've agreed to divorce too?" "Yes." "Good, leave that little slut to me. I'll make sure she regrets it," Dung said through gritted teeth. "Stay strong," Ngok encouraged. Dung clenched her fists tightly. Jealousy had completely clouded her judgment. She treated someone else's husband as if he were her own. Meanwhile, Ngok started trying to sell products online. Her health wasn't great, so she saw this as her best chance to earn money independently. She regretted relying so much on a man before that dependence had stripped away her value and any respect she deserved. Starting out was incredibly hard. Ngok borrowed some money from her mother to buy household goods for resale, but days went by without a single customer. Still, she refused to give up. One morning, Ngok spotted Tu watering the plants in the yard. Seeing her dressed neatly and looking pretty, Tu asked suspiciously, "Where are you going?" "I'm taking our daughter to a live streaming class." "Live streaming? So are you meeting another man?" "I'm trying to build a better life for us so you won't have to worry about me anymore." Nosh said calmly, "You know who I am better than anyone. Don't you trust me?" "I trust you. But is it really necessary to change? If you show up looking filthy and sloppy, no one will want to sit next to you. I'd be embarrassed too," he muttered. Ngok walked closer and took his hand. "I want to become the best version of myself." "Ja, fine, go then. But come home early, don't make me wait." "I will," she promised. After Ngok left, Tu changed his clothes and headed to the office. But before he could even sit down, Dung appeared. "So you're not avoiding me today, huh?" she said sharply. "Why should I avoid you?" he shot back. "What are you planning to do now? You're already a father. I'm no spring chicken either. Don't you have any plans? What's wrong with you? I'm not even divorced yet. How can I make any plans?" "That's your problem, but you better sort it out or else you'll have me to deal with." "Fine, I'll be straight with you," Tu said coldly. "I'm not divorcing my wife. We have a child, a sickly one at that. And what about the child I'm carrying? Don't they deserve a family, a father too? Or do you want them branded a bastard? I already told you, get rid of it." "Say that one more time and see what happens," Dung hissed. People around the office were starting to notice. "Let them look. If we don't settle this now, everyone in this company will know about your dirty deeds," Dung shouted. At that moment, a young, beautiful girl entered the office. Tu immediately moved away from Dung. Just that little incident was enough for Dung to realize Tu and the young girl really were having an affair. At lunchtime, when everyone else left the office, Dung stayed behind, secretly accessing Huyen's computer. The woman suspected of being involved with Tu. The text messages between Tu and Huyen were still there, untouched. It turned out they had been seeing each other for several months, even while Tu was still pretending to be affectionate with Dung's. Dung's hands clenched into fists. She couldn't accept being the loser. Blinded by rage, she sent all the evidence of Tu's affairs, including proof of her own relationship with him, straight to the company's directors. If she couldn't have him, she would destroy him. No one else would get what she couldn't. That very afternoon, Tu was called in for disciplinary review. A report was filed against him. Huyen no longer acted sweet and loving toward him. She began avoiding him altogether, afraid of getting a bad reputation. Tu, unwilling to be abandoned, gave her large sums of money and tried to arrange a private meeting. "Why didn't you answer my calls? Why didn't you reply to my texts?" he demanded. "So Dung could find me and rip me apart. She's already tracked me down and warned me, There's nothing between me and Chi-Dung anymore. You don't need to be scared." "Oh, really?" A voice sounded from behind. Dung approached with slow, deliberate steps, looking utterly defiant. "Nothing between us, huh? And all that money you took from me, did you spend it all on her?" "Don't talk nonsense, and besides, you gave me the money willingly. I never forced you," Tu snapped. "I was a fool to believe you," Dung said bitterly. "If I were smarter, none of this would have happened. But remember this, if I go down, you won't be standing long either. Don't dream of living happily." She thrust her phone into Tu's face, showing him that she had sent all the evidence to Ngok, his wife. "Right now, your wife must be heartbroken. You should hurry home and comfort her. Stop wasting time sweet-talking your little mistress. As for this child inside me from now on, it's mine alone. I don't need your responsibility, and I don't want my child to have a father like you." Dung turned and walked away. Huyen too coldly turned her back on him. "Go home to your wife, and from now on stay far away from me at work." "And what about the money I gave you, too?" called after her. "Go ask the heavens for it back. You gave money to a girl. What did you expect?" Huyen sneered and walked away without a second glance. Tu ran after her, only to be punched hard by a stranger who appeared out of nowhere. At that moment, Tu realized he was nothing but a complete fool. Huyen had never loved him. She only wanted his money. He had been stupid chasing after youth and novelty while his wife and child waited patiently at home, still hoping for him. Bruised and broken. Tu stumbled back to his house. As Tu stepped into the yard, he immediately saw that all of Ngok's belongings had been packed up. A moving truck was parked at the gate and several workers were loading boxes. He rushed over. "What are you people doing?" "We were hired to move this stuff," one of the workers replied. Ngok pulled the last suitcase toward the truck. "You're home already," she said calmly. "Wife, what's going on?" "I'm not staying here anymore," Ngok said firmly. "Where are you planning to go?" "Anywhere, as long as it's not here with you. If you're leaving, leave the child behind," Tu barked. "Leave my daughter with someone like you, a man who cheats with countless women. You think I'll let her carry the same shame as you? I have all the evidence of your affairs. I'll file it in court along with the divorce petition. Get ready." "I don't want a divorce. I absolutely refuse, and you'll never get custody. I may have nothing, but I have love for my child and dignity. If you think you can cover the sky with one hand, go ahead and try. I'll be waiting." Tu still believed that Ngok had nowhere to go. He was sure she would call him within a few days. In those days, Tu showed no sign of regret. He wandered from bars to karaoke lounges every night, always drunk and reckless. Ngok, meanwhile, hired a private investigator to document his behavior. After a few days at a motel, Ngok took her daughter back to her parents' house. She was terrified, unsure how her father would react this time. As she struggled with her bags at the gate, her father stormed out. "What now? What are you trying to pull this time?" he shouted. Her mother came running from the kitchen. "Come inside, change your clothes, and eat something," her mother urged. "No, not until we make things clear," her father snapped. "From now on, Ngach will stay here with us," her mother said firmly. "Are you insane? I made it clear last time you two just refused to listen," her father barked. "No, you are the one who doesn't understand," her mother retorted. "You're her father. How can you stand by and let your daughter suffer such humiliation? Shut up. Who gave you the right to encourage her? Do you know how shameful it is to have a divorced daughter? I'm not ashamed. If anyone should be ashamed, it's you for failing to protect your own child when she needed you most. You want to cause chaos, don't you? If you don't let Ngok stay here, then I don't need this house either. Let's see who'll take care of you then after all your years of bad habits. I accepted everything. I gritted my teeth and stayed silent, all because I was afraid of gossip. But now I will never let my daughter suffer the same way I will protect her. You're something else, Mr. Dung shouted angrily. You refuse to listen? He raised his cane to strike. Mrs. Yuan immediately grabbed it. You want to hit me? Go ahead. If you dare lay a hand on me again, I'll divorce you on the spot. I don't need this house anymore. She snapped the cane in two and threw it to the ground. Her fierce spirit left Mr. Dung speechless. The strength of a mother is incredible. They will do anything to protect their children. Mr. Dung could do nothing but pace back and forth anxiously. How will I show my face outside? How can I look people in the eye? Oh God, why am I so miserable? He wailed. He sat drinking outside on the porch, only a plate of peanuts for company. Ngok quietly set down a dish of food and sat beside him. Drinking on an empty stomach isn't good. Please eat something, Dad. Is there really no other way? Do you absolutely have to divorce him? He asked tiredly. I'm exhausted, Dad. He's heartless toward me and our child, and he's been unfaithful. I can't endure it anymore. Mr. Dung slammed his hand against the ground, roaring, disgraceful brat! Tears welled up in Ngok's eyes. Dad, I don't want you and Mom to be embarrassed because of me, but everything has gone too far. Please understand and have compassion for me. Zoe is still so young, she can't live a life drifting around with me. I don't even know how to take care of her properly yet. Since things have come to this, I guess I have no choice but to let you stay. Mr. Dung sighed. What else can I do? You saw how your mother looked at me like she wanted to tear me apart. Don't be mad at Mom. She just loves me too much, Ngok said gently. And what I don't love you too, it's just, I'm afraid of what people will say. But more than anything, I'm afraid you and your child will suffer. Seeing his wife approaching, Mr. Dung grumbled, Here she comes again. Think about it. No matter how badly you treated her, your daughter still worries about you. Isn't that enough proof of her heart? Fine enough, I won't kick them out anymore, all right, he snapped. Good, it's the right decision, Mrs. Yuan said firmly. Now that Ngok is back, we'll help her take care of the child and support her in rebuilding her life. We can't let her and the baby drift from place to place anymore. After a month, Ngok had managed to rent a small shop in town. That morning, she woke up early intending to go to the market and buy some food to nourish her parents. But as she stepped outside, she overheard her father arguing at the gate. What nonsense are you spouting? Say it again if you dare. It's barely dawn, Mr. Dung barked. Am I wrong? Your daughter got married, and now she's living back with her parents. Isn't that shameful? The neighbor retorted. Shameful. She's unhappy, so she got divorced. Where should she go if not back to her parents' home, live on the streets? Why did her husband leave her then? She must be a terrible wife. My daughter deserves my love, not your judgment. None of you have ever put food on my table. You have no right to tell me what to do. No one's telling you what to do. But honestly, even my own daughter, when she divorced, I didn't let her come back home either. I was too afraid of gossip. And who suffered for it? Your daughter. Not you. I used to think like you too, until I realized how much my daughter had suffered in silence. You should think again. The two old men continued walking down the lane, bickering as if they were about to fight. But in truth, they had been friends for decades. For Ngok, just hearing her father defend her like that was enough to fill her heart with happiness. When Mr. Dung returned from his exercise, Ngok had already cooked a pot of pork, kidney porridge his favorite. He sat down grinning. It's been forever since I had this. Your mother never cooks any more, either boiling or stewing everything boring to death. Mrs. Yuan called out from the kitchen. Then why don't you cook yourself? I've lived with you for decades. Have you ever made me a single meal? It's a woman's job to cook. Men should just eat, he protested. Drop that old-fashioned nonsense already, his wife shot back. You're bossing me around too much these days. Are you planning to divorce me for real? He joked. If I wanted to leave you, I would have done it long ago, she replied with a laugh. Mr. Dung ladled some porridge and placed a bowl in front of her. I didn't cook it, but at least I served it to you all right. Ngok sat nearby, cradling her daughter in her arms. She watched her parents bicker affectionately and thought, they've been married for decades. There were times the meals were bland, the soup too salty, but they still stayed together. Some marriages can be repaired with patience. Others, no matter how hard you try, simply cannot be saved. Ngok's divorce papers had already been filed with the court. She was summoned for a mediation session, her first time seeing Tu, again since she had left. He showed up with messy, uncut hair, wearing dirty clothes reeking of alcohol. Ngok instinctively stepped back. Tu merely sneered. So now you look down on me because I'm unemployed. Tu sneered. You're not working at your old job anymore. Ngok asked calmly. Work everyone at the company avoided me. I quit better that way. What about all your mistresses? I guess they didn't take very good care of you either, she said coldly. I'm not involved with any women now. It's over for real. Ngok, maybe we shouldn't get divorced. Let's start over. That was never my plan, she said firmly. I will fight for custody of Zoe. We'll see if you're still so high and mighty when that happens. In the past, Ngok had no stable career, but now things were different. Her business wasn't fully established yet, but at least she was earning her own money. More importantly, Tu had proven himself an irresponsible husband and father. Ngok felt confident she would win custody. The first court mediation failed. Ngok stood firm in her desire for divorce and refused to attend any further reconciliation sessions. After leaving the courthouse, Tu still tried to follow her. Stop right there. Do you still have something to say? Ngok asked sharply. Do you know why I came after you? Why should I care? You're too busy visiting dirty places to bother seeing your child, she snapped. Who told you that? I have all the evidence. I already submitted it to the court. Soon we'll be complete strangers. Suddenly, Tu lunged forward, grabbing her wrist tightly. You've been spying on me, haven't you? Let go of me, Ngok cried out. Her cries caught the attention of a man nearby. He rushed over, pulling Tu away. What the hell do you think you're doing? None of your business. Stay out of it, Tu barked. This is a courthouse. There are cameras everywhere. If she presses charges, you won't get away with it, the man warned. She's my wife. We haven't officially divorced yet. You think that gives you the right to assault her? Whether married or not, violence is still against the law. Ngok ran behind the stranger, trembling. Please help me, she whispered. The man calmly handed Tu a business card. My name is Than. I'm a lawyer at Than Trung Law Firm. If you need legal advice, feel free to visit my office anytime. Naturalize. Even lawyers like to meddle in other people's business, Tu sneered. I believe in upholding the law. Whenever I see injustice, I will intervene. Tu glared one last time at Ngok, who shrank closer behind Than. Finally, Tu stormed off. Even after he left, Ngok couldn't calm herself down. Than looked at her with concern. Are you all right? I'm fine, thank you. Where's your home? Let me drive you. It's okay, I'll manage, she replied, forcing a small smile. But that man, thank you for helping me today. Could I have your business card? If I ever need legal advice, I'll know who to call. Than handed Ngok his card. Seeing her trying so hard to stay strong, he felt a pang in his chest. In his years as a lawyer, he had encountered countless cases like hers, proof of how dark and ruthless the world could be. Ngok finalized her divorce with Tu. She was granted full custody of little Zoe. Tu wasn't willing to let go. Even in a public place like the courthouse, he still tried to fight for custody. If it weren't for fear of being arrested, he probably would have physically dragged them back. On weekends, when Zoe was off school, Ngok and her daughter stayed at her shop in town. One night, Zoe spiked a high fever. Ngok rushed her to the hospital. As soon as the doctor called their name, Ngok hurried over. Doctor, how is my daughter? She has tonsillitis. We're administering medicine to bring her fever down, the doctor said. Ngok clutched her daughter's tiny hand. Her cheeks were flushed red from the fever. Zoe, weak and crying, refused food. Ngok gently stroked her hair and kissed her forehead. Hang in there, baby, mommy's here. Don't be afraid. She stayed by her daughter's side all night, not sleeping a wink. In the early morning, when Zoe seemed stable, Ngok dashed out to buy some porridge. In her rush, she bumped into someone. Looking up, she recognized Thanj, the lawyer who had helped her before. He recognized her too. "Are you visiting someone here?" he asked. "My daughter's sick," she explained. "Is she getting better?" "She's still in emergency care, but they should move her to a regular room soon. I hope she recovers quickly." "Thank you, goodbye," Gok said hurriedly, then rushed back inside. When she returned, Zoe was awake. The two spent the next few days in the hospital. One day, as a nurse opened the door, Gok was surprised to see Tan again, this time caring for a small boy. "Oh, we meet again," Gok smiled warmly. Tan smiled back. "Is that your son?" "No, he's my nephew," Tan explained. He handed a piece of candy to Zoe. "Here you go, sweetie." Zoe happily accepted it. Before long, the two children were playing together. Tan sighed softly. Time flew by. Soon it was lunchtime. "What would you and your daughter like to eat? I'm heading down to buy food anyway," he offered. "Could you please get us a pork chop rice box? We'll share one," Gok replied. "Sure, keep an eye on Bon for me, okay?" He smiled. "All right," she nodded. As Than left, the mothers in the room began chatting among themselves. "Whoever marries this man in the future is going to be very lucky. He's so good with children, so gentle too. Unlike our husbands who bark orders like generals, that's why he's a lawyer, and each of us has our own fate." The women laughed. They turned to Notch. "What do you do for a living?" "I sell household goods," Notch replied. A businesswoman too. But you're so soft-spoken, not like some others who shout all the time." "I guess everyone's different," Notch said with a shy smile. Everyone laughed warmly. After all the bitterness she had endured, Ngok now faced life with quiet acceptance. No more screaming, no more tears. Than returned with lunch. Everyone shared a meal together, chatting like old friends. At the hospital, they all shared the same hope for their children to recover and return home soon. After lunch, the children napped and the adults dozed off too. In the afternoon, as the heat eased, Tha and Ngok took the two kids out to play in the hospital courtyard. They tossed a tiny ball back and forth, giggling happily. Ngok turned to Than. "Is Bon's mother working far away?" "No, my sister passed away. Her husband has already remarried," he said quietly. "I'm sorry for bringing up painful memories." "It's all right. Now I just want Bon to have the best life possible," he said, his voice full of emotion. "Sometimes I see how much he craves affection. It breaks my heart." They talked for a long time, finding unexpected comfort in each other. The next morning, Tan's mother, Mrs. Tui, arrived. She scooped Bon into her arms. "Oh, my poor baby, just a few days sick and you've lost so much weight." Bon giggled and quickly went back to playing with Soy. Mrs. Tui greeted Ngok. "How long has your daughter been in the hospital?" "Since yesterday," Ngok replied. "Coming here really makes you realize how precious health is. No one wants to come to the hospital, but eventually everyone does." Mrs. Tui sighed. Since she was there to stay, Than returned to work. Mrs. Tui was warm and talkative, sharing stories about Than, his likes, his dislikes, his stubborn habits. "The only thing that bothers me," she sighed, "is that Than still hasn't found anyone special." "Maybe fate hasn't come yet," Gotch offered gently. "I'm not picky. As long as he likes her, I'll accept whoever he chooses," Mrs. Tui said. "Back in my day, being a daughter-in-law was miserable." She chuckled. "Now we have to treat them well. In old age, it's the daughters-in-law who care for us, if we're lucky enough." Every evening, Than stopped by the hospital, but had to leave again since there was no place for him to stay. Ngok, busy caring for her daughter, barely spoke to him. She still saw him as just a passing stranger. A week later, both Soai and Bon were discharged on the same day. Before leaving, Mrs. Tui warmly invited Ngos. "When you have time, come visit me at home. I really like you and your little one." She also exchanged phone numbers and addresses. Back home, Ngok returned to live streaming her sales. The hospital days had caused her online interactions to drop sharply. After closing orders, she carefully packed each parcel, trying not to disturb her daughter's sleep. Late at night, the shipper came to collect the packages. There wasn't much food in the fridge, so she reheated leftovers for dinner. "Eating like this isn't good for your health," a voice said behind her. Ngok turned in surprise. It was Mrs. Tui. I knocked and called, but no one answered. The older woman said, "Come, let's eat together. I brought some food." "You're staying here now back—" "Yes, I decided to move closer, one part to watch over Than, the other, to push him to finally settle down." She chuckled. "When you're far away, you call and text, but they barely reply." She sighed. "No matter how busy you are, you must take care of yourself. Health once lost can never be bought back." Ngok looked at Mrs. Tui, feeling warmth bloom in her heart. It had been a long, long time since someone had cared for her so genuinely. When Zoe woke up, she immediately ran to Mrs. Tui. "Grandma, where's Bon? Bon's at home, you miss him." "Yes." "Then tomorrow Grandma will bring Bon here to play with you, okay?" "Yes, Grandma." Mrs. Tui turned to Ngok and said, "Bon keeps asking about Zoe, too. Today it was raining, so I didn't dare to bring him along, afraid he'd catch a cold. I'm new here, don't really know anyone. Luckily, I had your number, so I could find my way. I hope I'm not bothering you two, Res." "Not at all, Grandma," Gotch smiled warmly. Mrs. Tui looked around the small house. There was barely any furniture, only piles of household goods for sale. Through Ngok's stories, she understood somewhat the hardships, struggles, and loneliness the young woman had endured. The doorbell rang urgently. Ngok hurried out. It was Tu standing at the gate. "I want to see my daughter. Open the door," he shouted. Ngok couldn't stop a father from seeing his child. She opened the gate. Tu stormed inside, glancing around suspiciously when he spotted Mrs. Tui. "Who are you?" he barked. Mrs. Tui replied coldly, "You barge into someone's home and then demand to know who they are. Don't you think that's a little rude?" "I asked, who are you? Why are you in my wife's house?" "Ah, so you must be Ngok's ex-husband," Mrs. Tui said calmly. Tu turned to glare at Nosh. "Did you tell her everything about us? Maybe you even made yourself out to be a victim." Ngok answered firmly. "I never played the victim. I was just unlucky enough to meet a man like you. If you want to see your daughter, she's inside." Tu marched into the room. Moments later, Zoai's terrified screams echoed. Ngok rushed in, only to see Tu stuffing her daughter's clothes and toys into a bag. "Come with Daddy. You can't stay here. At home. We have so many toys, air conditioning, not like this godforsaken place. The court already granted me custody." "You're violating the law," Ngok said, trembling. "Don't wave that piece of paper at me. I want to raise my daughter. You have no idea how much I miss her." "N'attendez. You've never cared. You didn't cherish me. You didn't love your child either. If you had even a shred of decency, you wouldn't have cheated, wouldn't have humiliated me, wouldn't have abandoned your family." Fortunately, Mrs. Tui called Thand. Since he was working nearby, he arrived quickly. Once again, Tan stepped in to protect Nox. Tu exploded. "What is your relationship with my wife? Why are you always there whenever I want to see her?" Then remained calm. "I have no ties to you. You're divorced. So what, she's still the woman who once bore my child. She carries my blood. That's something you can never change." "Stop this. You're pushing things too far," Than warned. "Or what? Or else the cameras recording your trespassing will be enough to get you arrested. Always hiding behind the law, huh?" Tu sneered. "Unfortunately for you, the law is very real. You have two choices: leave now, or I call the police." Defeated, Tu had no choice but to leave. Ngok clutched her daughter, her whole body trembling with fear. If Thon and Mrs. Tui hadn't been there, she couldn't imagine what would have happened. Mrs. Tui gently suggested, "Why don't you and Zoai come live with us for a while? The house is big. There's even a storage area you can use for your business." Ngok was about to refuse, but Thon spoke up. "Your safety and your daughter's must come first. If he comes back and causes trouble again, you won't be able to handle it alone." But Ngok hesitated. "You can consider it like renting another place." Than added, "There are always people coming and going at our house. You'll be safer." After some thought, Ngok agreed. The warehouse was located right by the entrance, perfect for running her business. It wasn't just a place to stay, it became a real haven for her and her daughter. Ngok no longer had to live in constant fear that her ex-husband would show up to cause trouble. Even if he did, there were so many people around that he wouldn't dare act recklessly. The happiest one was Bon. He finally had someone to play with, laughing and running around all day carefree like any other child. How wonderful it was to live without worrying about tomorrow, just enjoying each passing day. Mrs. Tui, with time on her hands, helped Nagas whenever she wasn't cooking for Than. She assisted in arranging goods, packing orders, and even joined Ngok during her live stream sales. The two women got along extremely well, sharing all kinds of stories and laughter. One day, Ngok shyly said, "Back, you keep helping me so much, I feel really bad. I don't even know how to properly thank you." Mrs. Tui laughed heartily. "If you feel bad, then become my daughter-in-law." "Back, you're teasing me." Ngok blushed. "No, I'm serious," Mrs. Tui said warmly. "Over the time we've spent together, I've come to see what a good girl you are. You and Than get along so well. If we became a family, I think we'd all be very happy." "Buck, I think I'm too different from Than. We're worlds apart," Ngok whispered. "In marriage, the most important thing is how people treat each other. Differences can always be worked out," Mrs. Tui reassured her. She smiled sadly. "Back then, your Uncle Than's father was a wealthy, powerful man. I was just a housemaid, but we overcame everything together. He was kind and gentle. It's just a shame. Life didn't let us grow old together." Mrs. Tui sighed, her eyes misty with memories. Even now, those happy years remained vividly in her heart, never fading. Ngok remained silent, taking it all in. She had never imagined hearing such things from Mrs. Tui. Usually Than rarely came home for meals, but one evening he brought back a pile of sweets and snacks. Zoe ran happily into the warehouse. "Mommy, Uncle Than gave me these." "Did you remember to thank him?" Ngok asked. "Yes, Mommy." The little girl sat eating her treats cheerfully, while Ngok smiled and returned to her work. Than stepped inside holding a bag of fresh fruit. He noticed Ngok's fingers each wrapped with small bandages. "What happened to your hand?" he asked gently. "I accidentally cut myself earlier," Ngok said lightly. "Did you get any medicine?" "It's just a small cut. It'll heal in a few days. I brought some fruit. Make sure you eat some later, okay? You really don't have to buy anything. I already feel bad bothering everyone," Ngok said. "Don't feel bad. I want to help," Than replied, smiling softly before leaving. Ngok watched him go, feeling a strange warmth linger in her heart. Day after day, time quietly passed. Ngok's small business slowly grew stronger. Her social media pages gained more followers. Life for her and Zoe was no longer as unstable as before. She could now afford to buy herself pretty clothes, princess dresses, and dolls for her daughter. Every penny she spent was money she earned herself. No more begging, no more swallowing insults. Even though she worked hard day and night, she felt no resentment, only pride. Each video she posted online bore traces of Mrs. Tui's help. She'd unknowingly become a supporting actress, delighting viewers with her natural, humorous charm. That joy, that warmth could never be bought with money. And deep in her heart, Mrs. Tui's desire to have Ngok as her daughter-in-law never faded. Even though she never pressured the young woman, Mrs. Tui felt deeply sad. She realized that on her own she couldn't make anything happen, then had to take the first step. But truthfully, she wasn't sure how Than truly felt about Ngok. She'd never dared to ask. That night, Than came home late. The house was dark, completely silent. He turned on the lights and found his mother sitting alone in a corner, lost in thought. "Why didn't you turn the lights on, Mom? You're back already." "Yes, Mom. I have something to talk to you about." Outside, the wind howled through the window. Than gently placed a jacket over his mother's shoulders. "You're getting older. Now you have to take better care of your health. Tomorrow, come with me to meet someone, all right." "Who are we meeting?" "A friend of mine and her daughter." "You want me to meet her daughter?" Than smiled wearily. "You've been living with me for half a year now. You refuse to bring home a girlfriend, so I have to take matters into my own hands." "Mom, I can find someone myself. You don't need to worry." "I have every right to worry. I want to have a daughter-in-law already." "And what about Bon?" "I'll take him back to the countryside with me. I'll look after him myself. It won't affect your married life." Than froze. "If that's the case, then I won't get married. I have to take care of Bon." "How do you know no woman would accept him if you don't even try? You're a lawyer. You've seen enough broken marriages because of stepchildren, but that's not an excuse. Truthfully, you're afraid." afraid of getting hurt, afraid of a marriage falling apart because you've seen too much. Mrs. Tui sighed heavily. She didn't know what else to say. She quietly went back to her room and closed the door, not out of anger, but pure sadness. Thea wandered around the garden. As he passed the warehouse, he noticed the light was still on. Inside, Ngok was still busy packing orders after her live stream. He gently knocked on the door. "Sorry for bothering you this late?" "No problem, I'm still awake packing orders." Ngok smiled warmly. Than stepped inside, grabbed a roll of tape, and started helping her. "You work alone every day like this. Maybe you should hire someone to help." "I can't afford it yet. The profits aren't enough to pay an extra salary," Ngok said softly. They packed the orders together. Every now and then, Ngok noticed Thane sighing heavily. "Something's bothering you tonight, isn't it?" she asked gently. "Mom is pressuring me to get married. I just want to take good care of Bon until he's a little older. And after seeing so many failed marriages, I'm scared," Than admitted. Ngok completely understood. Every day he saw countless divorces. How could he not be haunted by it? They talked for nearly an hour until every package was sealed and ready for shipping. Only then did Tan finally go back to his room to rest. Mrs. Tui tossed and turned all night. Her plan to introduce Than to another woman was really just a way to test where his heart was leaning. But he kept using Bon as a shield. She sighed, unsure what to do anymore. Finally, she decided the best way was to let Than and Ngok naturally spend more time together. Maybe feelings would blossom. The next morning, Mrs. Tui arranged a trip to the countryside. She planned to take both Bon and Zoai along. "I'm going back home for a few days. It's not good to leave Bon alone here. And if I only take him, he'll miss Zoai and cry nonstop. Let me take both kids with me for a few days, okay? But Zoai gets sick easily. I know I've been around her for months. I'll take good care of them both." Reluctantly, Ngok agreed. She carefully packed clothes and medicine for her daughter, repeating instructions to Mrs. Tui over and over. "I've memorized everything already, don't worry," the older woman reassured her. Once the house emptied out, it felt eerily quiet. No laughter, no little footsteps. Life suddenly seemed terribly dull. Early the next morning, Ngok woke up to cook breakfast for Than, just as Mrs. Tui had asked her. They sat down across from each other. Than ate more than usual, enjoying the food Ngos had made. At one point, he even picked up a piece of fish and placed it into her bowl. Because the story is too long, if you have read this far, please give me a like and comment so I have more motivation to release the next part. Thank you very much.